I worked for a small designer out in San Francisco, and that's basically how I learned the trade and the business. Um, he eventually ran out of money and couldn't keep going, so I went on to work for a design development firm, and then there I took everything that I'd learned from him and started on the side and started making clothes. And as soon as I started making clothes, I was making clothes for the label. That was my first collection, was fall of 2001. I guess in a way you could say, like, you can see my growth, and a lot of times that's bad because they can see what you've done years before, so it's hard to say in the public eye. It's like, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. It just, sometimes it's like there's a chance where in the public, so for instance, what I'm saying is I could have hidden behind someone and been an assistant for years and grown that way, and therefore by the time I put out my first collection, it would be molded into a much stronger collection than being perceived by the public as you growing and getting stronger and learning more of what your trade, and what you do so well, or do well, or not so well for some instances. But it's just you can be scrutinized by the public eye instead of and that was the problem. Like, I could, when that designer went out of business, no one was giving me an opportunity, and that's why I started my own collection, because I was more trying to get into corporate doors, which I don't know why, but that to me at that time, there weren't any really small designers in San Francisco. There was a certain point where I was just disinterested in what was going on in San Francisco. For years, I had to make a move, and it was definitely the business that pulled me to New York, because it makes more sense than to move to LA. Now I have a really good, strong partner, financial backer, that has put me in a situation where I can grow and grow in the right direction. I have a business partner who happens to be in a big band. It's Mike Dern from Green Day, and he discovered Obedient Sons years ago. And I've been working with them, I guess, throughout that last partnership, doing stuff for him and some of the band members, for that matter, but mainly just Mike, and doing outfits for him for stage presence and award shows, and then just personal orders, and we've developed a really good, strong relationship. Bottom line is you have to sell, and that's in our market it's tough, because for us small designers, the big guys take up so much room, and there's not much room for us. And if say a major company or a major department store is not buying your line, doesn't mean you're not a good designer. It just means at that particular time there's no space for you. I find inspiration from several different forms. Definitely just being in New York and then traveling outside of New York, and seeing the climate changes, listening to music. Even right now, in the last two collections, I've kind of found inspiration from diving back into my roots and finding, like, a path of where I grew up and where I came from, and kind of tried to develop on that more. I grew up in North Carolina. Yeah. So there wasn't any fashion there. It's just more of like, but now that I look back on it, there was, It's like it takes so much time. Like, there was the prep years, there was the rocker years. It all existed there, and it existed everywhere. It's just a matter of wherever you find inspiration. I find it every day. It varies. It changes. Black Mountain's based on a college that existed in North Carolina from the 30s through 1957. It was like a rebellious kind of no grades policy art school that Joseph Albers from the Bauhaus movement was the first professor there. Rauschenberg went there. I mean, the list goes on. Merce Cunningham, John Cage. The list goes on and on. But there was, there wasn't any structure to it, and these guys and girls, men and women, would dress up and go to formal dinners with their professors and instructors, and that's where the whole outdoorsy meets formal wear blend came together. I was trying to keep it clean at the same time. Menswear is more about function instead of so the changes are very slow. It's more about is this buttonhole a working buttonhole, or is it just there for styling purposes? Men, we'll wear the same pair of jeans 6 days, 7 days a week. Maybe switch our jacket and our shirts up, here and there, and that's the thing. Men tend to buy less as well, but if you make, that tailored piece that fits well, that's of quality fabrics, and that they can wear for years, you have a shot at it. It's just a matter of men stick to their guns, and they do what's easy for them. I mean, I'm speaking from myself. I care about the detail, and I care about the quality. Like, for instance, this shirt. From the time I order the fabric, it takes 90 days for it to be made and delivered. And then, of course, it's cut and sewn here in the United States. And then with the finest quality, I guess, craftsmanship, this shirt factory's been around for years and years and years. And where I produce my jackets, they've been making tailored jackets for 100 years in New York City. So, I mean, I feel like I've finally gotten to the place where I've found the manufacturers that I've been looking for 5 years. I wish I would have started with these guys, but it's just one of those things. You work your way up, and as long as I can, I just hope that I can keep the customer that I've had for years. I'm sure some have come and gone. It's just, retailers have come and gone, so I can't sit here and say that hasn't happened. But now I know that I'm 100% satisfied with the product that I'm putting out there. It's one of those things, like I mentioned with some of the bigger department stores. I mean, it's time for us to make that jump, and and I think that if we're on the right path to do those things. I'm trying to remain to keep the artistic side as well. So it's a hard approach. You don't want to become too I guess commercial in a sense. I'm just at the point where I'm just trying to because there's so many great designers out there, like I said, and we're all kind of fighting for this small space. I just want to maintain the integrity and just keep trying to develop a nice structured piece of clothing that when you buy it you can wear it in years to come. I'm not trying to put at one time I think that, like I said, I think I've grown in the public eye, and at times it might have hurt me, because at one time I might have been putting out too much casual sportswear, where it just seemed, I look back on some things and I'm just going, gosh, why did I ever think that was, remotely cool? But at the time it made sense. But now I think about more of not next season, but 4 years down the road, will someone want to wear this shirt, or will someone want to wear this jacket, instead of, the now. I'm trying to think about the future. I have 2 collections now. Oh, okay. I have Sons by Obedient Sons, which is for a younger market, and then I have Obedient Sons, which is the more tailored stuff, more expensive stuff. The spring it'll all be combined to be, if you wanted to be merchandised together. Most customers will not buy it together because it's a different customer, but it has the same sensibility, I guess, in a